Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Paranormal Question Day. Tonight, we have a great guest on with us, but we'll be right back right after a short intro. Hey, everyone, and welcome to Paranormal Question of the Day. We do live podcasts with live guests, live paranormal investigations as well. We do product reviews, so sit back, enjoy the channel, get popcorn, get a soda, and I'll see you soon. And we are back. So I hope everybody's having a good Monday. And if you're just joining us, you can find us on YouTube under BB3 TV or MGS Paranormal 4258. If you're on Facebook, obviously you should be on Paranormal Brew. So tonight we have M&M Paranormal with us. Wayne might show up later on, depending on how his paranormal hangover is. We had a big event this past weekend, so we're all pretty tired, so you can see the bags in our eyes. So, other than that, welcome, guys, to the show. How you guys doing today?
Great, thanks.
Yeah, we're doing good.
Absolutely. So we have Michelle and Mike, correct?
Yep.
Correct.
All right. I was debating that during the day. Is it Mike? Is it Matt? Is it? I couldn't think. So, Michelle and Mike, can you let us know who you are and how you got into the paranormal?
Well, we are just a small group. We got into the paranormal a couple years ago, and the reason being is, it was COVID. COVID happened, and we needed to find something to do. And we were sick of just watching the shows on TV about paranormal. We kind of wanted to dabble in it a little bit. So we went on a few tours around Wisconsin that we could make happen and afford. And it got us interested in it, and we thought, heck, this might be something to just keep doing.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of wants to get hooked, or you get really hooked into it because it's so exciting how things just change on a whim.
Yes.
So, does the shows help you kind of understand it a little bit more, or by doing it yourself, help you understand the shows more?
I think watching, when you watch the shows, you can have a lot of different ways to approach things. So I think it is a little bit of both.
Okay, and that's a good answer because we all learn. I see. I watch it for the locations, but I also like Destination Fear, Project Fear. Do you have a favorite one that you guys watch?
Well, I mean, we like them, of course. We started watching Ghost Adventures. I mean, that's kind of where when we were always watching it together, and we're like, wow, this would be cool if we could do this. So
Hmm.
Ghost Adventures is probably the reason we began to do it.
Okay. Yeah, me and my wife started watching Ghost Hunters, and then we got into a little bit of hey, Yvette, how you doing? Ghost Adventures, and then we parted ways with them, and then just moving on to other ones like Paranormal Witness. Sometimes the documentary ones are kind of interesting. What do you think about those?
Yeah, we've watched a few of those. You know the the Lizzie Borden one with Dave Schrader and Sam Wiltrusis. That was
Hey, Chelsea.
that was a great documentary. So we try to watch just about everything we can.
Hmm.
Given the time that we have, anyway.
Right. Well, I bet you're both really working a lot of, how work goes and trying to find out new equipment and stuff like that. Do you guys make your own equipment, or you just purchase what you see what you like that you think that works best?
We purchased a lot of equipment. We had somebody make. Our friend Jay made a portal box for us. That's one of our favorite pieces of equipment we use. Uh, Seems to work pretty good for us.
Hey, Matt.
But we do end up purchasing a lot for our hobby, that's for sure.
Yeah. And in fact, I made a purchase watching one of your videos because you guys do a lot of good videos on there about the gear that you get and showcasing it. I like that's something I would like to do too, eventually get into doing that. Um, but
What you buy?
what's that?
What did you buy?
I bought the spirit box from the guy from the UK.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was interesting. The one with the little speaker on the
Yep.
side.
Yep. Yeah, we used that the first time when we were in Key West, and David Sloan let us use his box there at the firehouse, and we really liked it. Had a lot of good interaction with it, so we're like, oh, let's just get one.
Yeah, FCD, I believe it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got another box that's kind of like another RTC box in a way that has a lot more buttons to it. I got to observe this weekend with. I like that one too. It seems to sweep faster, I think. I don't know. This one sometimes it sweeps fast and then sometimes it sweeps really slow. But
Hmm.
it all depends on what situation you're in too.
Right.
So, um, but yeah, that's the one I grabbed because I think I messaged Michelle about that. I was like, "Where did you get that from?" So, um, so have you guys had any prior paranormal experiences before getting into the paranormal? And if so, where did it start and what happened?
Oh, we had one of the first places we lived together was a two-story house, and and the upstairs was just like two rooms and an upstairs landing.
Mhm.
And then we're all sitting downstairs watching TV one day with the kids, and all of a sudden a ball comes bouncing down the stairs, and we're like, "What the heck, guys?" And one of the kids says, "Well, that was underneath my bed in the bedroom." So that was kind of like, "Oh, okay." It made us pay attention to it more.
Yeah.
The kids don't forget either.
Oh no, they don't.
They're like, remember that one time? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing with kids. Everything varies depending on age too. I mean, uh, 7 was my first paranormal experience, and it was a dual one. Um, but from what I understand, it's like 12 to 13, you can see them, but beyond that, either you keep that trend or you lose it and you don't really see it anymore. See, I don't see them except for shadow figures.
Hmm.
How about you guys?
We've seen some shadows. We like when we were at Edinburgh, Michelle. We all were sitting in the basement there, and that's where we all saw a white mist go above us
Hmm.
near the ceiling of the basement, and that's when Michelle started feeling sick.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then,
Go ahead. Sorry.
oh no, and then it just at I can't remember the farm name, but man, I swear somebody jumped out at me there as we were leaving.
Mm. Could be playing a joke on you.
Hmm.
I mean, we do that a lot on our off time once in a while. We just kind of found like when we get downright serious, we're serious. But when it's time to like, okay, let's take a break, we pull pranks on each other. It gets to be a lot of fun. It really helps to chop up the investigation a little bit more, so everybody can just kind of breathe and you know relax a little bit. Because
Yeah.
they can get downright intense. What was your most intense investigation you had?
Hmm.
I would say one of the most intense probably was when we went to go do Bobby Mackey's.
Okay.
Yes.
We got to have that for the night. Um, him and I and one other friend joined us, and we had an interesting experience down in the basement by the well. There's stairs that would lead to nothing in
Hmm.
the middle of the basement, and so I thought let's do Estes method, and I sat on the stairs with my back towards the nothingness and was rattling off stuff. Then all of a sudden, I felt something touch me, and I was like, "Whoa!" I'm out. That was pretty creepy. That was one of my first aha moments on that end.
What about you, Mike?
You know, I don't know if anything ever has startled me that much. I had something tug on my pants pocket. I've had feeling like somebody's touched me on the shoulder, um, but nothing as intense as what Michelle had there.
Okay. Okay. Um, yeah, see, Bobby Mackey's is interesting. Now, since then, I think they've tore it down now, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
And then they're going to rebuild. I heard they're going to rebuild.
they're going to rebuild. That's what we heard.
Yeah.
Okay. That's kind of, kind of sucky when you get a nice haunted location like that, and then they decide, oh, well, we're just going to chop it down.
Well, it was in
Not in
it was
good
in
shape.
pretty bad disrepair. It was
Yeah. I mean, it's for your safety, though, too. I mean,
yeah.
I think that land is always going to be something going on there, whether what builds on top of it, because you got that stream.
Yep.
So, let's see. Now, gear wise, where do you mostly get all your gear from? Do you go to Ghost Stop, FCD? Those are the two top ones that I can think of. And then Jay, you were talking about him.
Yep.
What do y'all get, and what makes you make that decision as to the gear that you get? Do you study it? Do you watch other YouTube videos on it, or is it something you just talk to the owner and say, "Hey, what is this about?"
Kind of a little bit of everything. Like I've got the box from Jay, the IDC box. I got one of those, and I've been looking at. He's been advertising his Spirit Web quite a bit, and I see Ghost Stop has a similar version of that. Um, but usually it's always, just hey, we need to get something new. Um, we can go around, most try to find credible places that are selling stuff, but
Mhm.
Ghost Stop and the IDC devices. Um,
I also think it's word of mouth, because the paranormal community has, you're a big group.
Right.
And usually you're part of somebody's part of this or this or this and on Facebook, and you're watching what other people are doing and what kind of stuff they're using, and they're letting you know how they're getting feedback. I think that's important. A lot of hearsay, I think, is a big thing. And then you go to investigate it yourself and see if you actually want it.
Yeah, that is true. I've found so many things that like, okay, I have it in my stack of stuff, and it's like, I don't know, I'm kind of tired of this one, you
Mhm.
know, or let's switch it up a little bit. Do you have a device that you really don't care for, or do you feel that it has no place in the paranormal field, like it's just kind of, a waste of time?
hmm, man, I tell you, I love the REM pod, but man, we don't ever get anything on the REM pods.
Hardly ever. Yeah.
We've hardly ever got anything on REM pods. We still use it, but it's probably the last thing we put out or use when we're
Hmm.
on. We just never have any luck with the REM pod.
Do you ever go outside the box and just like say, okay, let's go to a store, let's go to the toy section, find something like that, or something unique, or do something different, like you see some from a show and like imitate it a little bit. Do you want to do that at all, or?
Yeah, we've tried that. The latest thing that we've tried to do is, I mean, we'll put up trail cams in places, but we'll also we were at Brumder earlier in the year, and we had bought two mirrors, and down in their basement they have a tunnel that's closed off that is allegedly a portal,
Hmm.
and we had the spirit box in between the two mirrors by that blocked off tunnel. We had some good communication, and it freaked out the person that was with us.
Oh, that's funny. That's like, sure, you're okay.
Yeah, they didn't sleep that night. They had a bedroom all to themselves. They stayed downstairs with a friend of ours and stayed up all night. We didn't. It was the first time they ever been on an investigation, and that
Uh,
tipped it over and freaked her out.
Now, speaking of portals, I'm one of those on the fence of portals. Do you believe in portals? Do you think they are out there? Do you see them? Do you feel them? What's your views on portals?
I think that it doesn't necessarily have to be a certain place in a building. You know, I think that any building could have several portals, um, and it doesn't even necessarily have to be a portal. I mean, you got obviously spirits can go through anything. It doesn't
Mhm.
need to have a specific part of a building to be to have a portal. I think it's just the activity you find in certain spots, and people want to say, "Well, that's a portal there."
Yeah. What do you feel, Michelle?
I agree with Mike. I think, depending on how much activity one initial spot gets in a building, I think that leads people to think that it's a portal. And like he said, it doesn't really matter. Like they can go in and out of anywhere. We get a lot of orb activity in our basement, a lot, and it's usually when we're either just before we're leaving for somewhere or right after we get back. And it's never otherwise when anybody's home. And
Mhm.
we have cameras down there that go off, and it's just incredible. And we wouldn't think there's a portal, but seems like that's a good spot for things to come and go.
Right, right. Um, Now I've heard of things about portals where there's like a big sonic boom and that like it's only open for so long of a period of time and then sun comes through it and then all of a sudden they're gone. It's like, okay, you have that. I like to step through because I want to see what's on the other side.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I mean, realistically, what do you think is on the other side? What would you, if you were able to walk through it, what do you think you'll find and how do you think it would look?
I think it'd be just for myself. I think it'd just be dimensions in time. Could be years down the road or years behind us. It's just there's just all these different dimensions, and it depends on where it's open to
Right.
that
Mike?
particular moment.
yeah. I think it's just the time thing is just the one that intrigues me the most. It's just like I think you're just going to step through, and you're either going to be maybe at the same place, or who knows, maybe that the activity in those portals when people come through and they see you, well, you're actually seeing them. It's just kind of a messes with your brain a little bit.
So I mean, there's a movie out there. I forgot what it's called, but it's like the dead think that we're dead and they're alive.
Right.
I mean, I feel the same way. I mean, they probably think that they're still alive and we're the dead ones. You know, what do
Could
you
very
think,
well be.
Michelle? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I don't know if I had. I just said I'm sorry. Could very well be that that's what it is.
Yeah, I think it's called the others. That's it, the others.
Hmm.
So, Um, so I was thinking about water deprivation and stuff like that, and Estes method and all that stuff like that. What is your feelings on both of those, and do you think they compare similar, or do you think they're way different and have different outcomes in that sort of aspect?
So tell me about the water deprivation because I haven't seen that one.
So water deprivation is kind of like, have you watched 28 Days Haunted?
Yes.
Yes, when it first came out.
Okay, so Shane Pittman, he was in this one location, and he actually laid down in a kind of like tub of water, and it's kind of like that Netflix show, Stranger Things, where this girl goes in this tank and
Yeah.
she's seeing all these things and stuff like that. So that's kind of like water deprivation in a way, where it kind of puts you in a whole different state of mind of where you are and what you see and stuff like that. That's what that's mostly about.
I think those could both be similar. I think you're taking away one sense, at least one sense,
Hmm.
and making the other senses more
Hey.
in tune.
Right. Uh, SS method is who loses themselves the most during the SS method.
Out of the two of us, I would say he does.
Does it feel like it starts snoring?
I sometimes I feel like I am seeing words coming across my blindfold,
Hmm.
or like we do use the Delco goggles too.
Okay, I
Um,
never heard of that.
so those are I want to say the guy is from War Party Paranormal out of Florida,
Okay.
and they're just goggles, and it's a red screen. You can either have the red screen solid, you can have it uh, strobe, or you can make it flash. And you're just supposed to sit there and concentrate on that. Similar to the blindfold, it's just a different. You're not concentrating on anything else except that red flashing at you, and you're hearing what you hear.
Okay. Yeah, I tried it for the first time this weekend at Edinburgh. Uh, I didn't have the blindfold on, but it's like holy crap, trying to pick out words. Uh, Sometimes I feel like I was behind, but then I still said it what I heard.
Yep,
Does that seem like a normal thing to
yep,
happen?
yep. And I always, when we were trying to help somebody with their first time, we told them, you're going to hear a lot of stuff. If you think you heard it, say it,
Hmm.
because you might have your brain's not processing it. So just say it, and you could be behind. Sometimes I think you say stuff before the people say a question.
Yeah. That's always the interesting part where I found is that when we're asking the questions and they're going through the words, it's like, holy cow, how much all this stuff really ties into what's going on or, what's going on in other parts of the building or in a house, stuff like that. I thought that was pretty cool to see that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we like that. I think that's sometimes where we try to do the more challenging things. So like if you're in a location that maybe the bathtub's haunted, maybe you're going to do the SS method in the bathtub.
Hmm. I believe, being that close to it, yeah, I would say it really draws a lot. We had one guy sitting in a house, um, and we had this other girl doing the SS method, and she was saying house,
Hmm.
sleeping, all this stuff, and you're like, what? So he took the walkie-talkie, called over. He goes, "Are you sleeping?" Oh, I was about nodding off.
Oh boy.
I'm like, "Holy crap!" So you're telling me a spirit is actually with us and at the building or at the house, seeing what he's doing at the same time?
Watching,
Hey,
yeah.
I'm watching everything.
That's crazy. You know, that just blows my mind. So what's been the most outside the box thing you have done on an investigation to like really surprise it if it works or if it doesn't work? And did it make a difference?
Hmm. I don't know. I mean, really, this year we've been trying to do a little more. Like I said, let's put the two mirrors together, put it in between a spirit box, see what happens. We're just trying to. This year we've been trying to think of different new things to do instead of the basic. I think the couple of years that we've done it, it has been, hey, let's just try to learn what we're doing. You
Hmm.
know, seeing what the equipment does. And this year's kind of been a more let's try to be more
Experimenting.
experimental and
Mm.
Yeah, I like experiments. It's all about the science to me. Um, you know, um, trigger objects. What is your feeling on trigger objects? Do you think they work? Uh, I sometimes dress up for locations to be a trigger. What is your thoughts on that?
I think trigger objects could work. I think it just depends on, just like the equipment. I think some equipment works better at some locations than others. I think, some places like the dowsing rods are fantastic at some of the older locations, and some of
Hmm.
the newer equipment is
Not as good.
not as good. It's all different. It depends on where you're at. Maybe I don't think you need to have a toy rabbit for every place that had a kid that lived there.
Right.
But, a gun at an old saloon or something with a deck of cards, maybe that's a good trigger object.
Yeah. I
Mhm.
use cards. Just, see if they can read what we're pulling out.
Yep. Yep. We use those. We used some cards when we were at the Firehouse Museum in Key West.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. Um, sorry. I just got a cold, I think. Brewing up here.
Yeah.
So location wise, do you have a bucket list of locations? Where would you like to go? Is there a location that you say, okay, I had enough. I don't think I'll ever go back to?
Well, we have a few bucket list things. We want to, the normal for everybody. Trans-Allegheny, Waverly Hills. Yeah, sure, it'd be great. I don't know if
Hmm.
that will ever happen. You know, I'd love to go to the Washoe Club.
Mm,
Seeing them on the shows, Project Fear was there.
right.
Ghost Avenger's been there. That place just seems to be a very cool place. Um,
We have
you
one
know,
coming up.
one of our bucket list places coming up, we're going to Villisca.
Oh, so you gotta take that on and see how that goes, huh?
Yep.
So,
That'll be interesting.
yeah, I've I've heard a lot of things lately.
Yeah, I try not to get caught up in the drama.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, they raised the prices. I know that. It was like 450 to go, and I think it's like 600 now.
it's about 6.25.
Yeah.
But hey, it was available on a weekend day,
Oh
so,
yeah, that's you gotta take it then.
so we're going on Sunday night.
Okay. Okay.
That's
But
Um,
always like Winchester Mystery House. Hey, that would be super cool. But some of these places are just priced out for
especially
some of us common folk.
a small group
oh
like
yeah.
we'd have to have a huge group for that and try to get a huge group to go to that on a day or a weekend or it's hard to do. So
Mm-hmm.
we'll just keep
Oh
watching shows, I guess.
yeah. I mean, it's like Lizzie Bordenhouse. You brought that up before. I know that's like for 8 hours. It's like $2,200 or something like that.
Right.
Last time I heard that was the price. Um, you got Juliet Prison. I don't know if you remember Juliet Prison.
We've been
We've
there
been
for
there.
a couple of group events.
Mhm.
Okay. So last time I checked, it was like for 8 hours, it was like $1,600, right? Now the new reports are coming out where it's for 4 hours they want 5 grand, and for 8 hours they want 10 grand.
They can keep that. That's
Yeah.
that's just that's just getting greedy.
Well, I think they do it so high for just for TV producers, for TV to do
Right.
it.
Right.
Which
So
is unfortunate.
what's that?
That's unfortunate.
Oh yeah, we gotta experience some of that stuff too. But there's there's a lot of other prisons out there. Um, what is your take on prisons and jails and stuff like that? Do you feel more active in those locations? Do you feel like they really intensify as the night goes on, or is it more intensify when it's early in the night?
I thought when we went to Brushy Mountain,
Ooh,
and I
that's a good one.
thought as the night went on, it got more intense.
Really?
More creepy. Sure.
Yeah, it just because the area is so secluded, and I mean, as the night went on, it just seemed like the activity got more amped up.
Right, right. Russian Mountain, though, that one's the shape of an upside down cross, correct?
Yep.
That's what I thought. So, what's the most freakiest part about that place? I've heard it could be pretty menacing.
Yeah. Well, when they start off with telling you that you have to watch out for wild boars and rattlesnakes on your walking tour before you go. But the rattlesnakes don't rattle anymore because they're afraid of the wild boars.
I'm
So
out.
that gets you thinking about being outside because there's only walls on three sides because the hill is the other side. But in the prison, you go through the prison and you start seeing some of the areas, and then you start seeing where they keep some of the worst individuals.
Hmm.
And I just think there's just a lot of energy there. I think the way that place was made and what they used it for back in the day um, is there's a lot of energy there.
I believe it. But when you start saying snakes, hey, Jay, there's Jay. When you start saying snakes and wild boars, mm-mm, they can keep it. I'm done.
We didn't run into either one of them, so that was good.
I don't know. I don't trust it. What has been the most fun investigation you've been on, and where was it at? And what group were you with?
Oh man. Um, uh, I think the most fun investigation, man, Ashmore is always fun.
Never
Um,
been yet.
Ashmore is great. One of my favorite locations. And Michelle's only been there once. I've only been there twice, and we've only went with a couple other friends with us. So we've had just a small group with us.
Mhm.
But that place is always interesting and fun, and I don't know. I just like that place.
That's cool. Yeah, Ashmore's on my hit list. Billy Creek is the one I want to get to as well.
Billy Creek, yep.
Yeah, 12 houses, buildings, whatever to go through. I think that'd be wild.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
I haven't been to ISS either, Indiana State Sanatorium. Have you been there?
I haven't. I heard it's
Okay,
great. I
lots
heard
of
it's
places.
great. Lots of places to go. Not enough
Oh
time.
yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't think uh, nothing will fall short of paranormal stuff. I think it's gonna just keep evolving more and more and more how things go. Um, the only thing I don't hear too much of is the West Coast. Um, it's more on East Coast and the Midwest. What are your
Yep.
thoughts on that?
The only stuff they usually hear is the normal stuff out west. Queen Mary, um, Winchester Mystery House, Washoe Club. You don't, and it's surprising because you would think there'd be more, but maybe just because we're not out that way, we don't hear as
Hmm.
much. Um, East Coast, oldest part of the country, right? So you're going to have a lot of energy from hundreds of years ago.
Right.
Yeah. The best thing we did on the East Coast so far was we got to do the Conjuring House before all that stuff happened.
Yeah,
So
that was
that
a
was
mess.
Yeah,
that's a mess
but
for sure.
it
But
was
it
great.
was
It was a great experience.
awesome,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, it doesn't look like anybody's going to be able to go back. But that would be definitely somewhere we would go if we had the chance to do again.
Yeah. I would like to experience it. I mean, I've seen a lot of it on TV. I mean, is it accurate to what they say on TV, or is it just a little bit different?
Hmm. I feel like the whole grounds is active. Like they have a stream going through, and they have water in the house from an old well, and they just you've got all this energy there that there's the house is in a great spot for having paranormal activity. So
Have you guys been to Gettysburg yet?
yeah,
We did. It was a weekend trip. We hadn't planned any paranormal stuff because it was a holiday weekend. It was a July 4th holiday weekend. But we did do a walking tour, and we did walk through the graveyard at night when we weren't supposed to.
oops.
Love to go back and spend some more time there.
Yeah. I bet that'd be
There's
a lot of fun.
definitely an energy there. You know,
Yeah, I heard the
definitely.
trees are really nasty out there too. Like
Yeah.
a lot of energy on trees. Because I know for our school there that Sam and Kobe now owns, but there's always a tree that a friend of mine always went and touched. And a lot of people, after that, a lot of people went and touched the tree and it really changed the outcome of the building.
I didn't hear about the tree before we were there.
Yeah, it's different. But there again, prices went up now.
Yeah, that was a great location too. That was some of
Yeah.
the we had some good activity in that building.
Hmm.
Yeah, I've been there a couple times, and we got a lot of good stuff there. Just overall, I thought it was a great location. Freaky to use a bathroom by the gym area.
Yeah,
Yes.
very crazy.
I'm like, I don't know if I want to sit. Tree? Where's the leaf?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's just quite an interesting place. EVPs. What are your thoughts on EVPs? And do you what's your favorite one that you've gotten so far? And what's been the creepiest one you've gotten?
I love EVPs, and I think the more you listen to them, the better you get to hear them.
Hmm.
It takes a long time to hear what you're hearing, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, it does. You got to have a really keen ear for it and the patience.
Um, One of the best ones we ever got, we were at the Berlin Tannery,
Hmm.
and we were standing in one of the areas of the thing, and we had put some cat balls down, and clear as day, and we heard it before on the recorder. We heard it say, "Who's playing with the cat balls?" And then I'm like, I'm recording. I think I got that, and it was recorded. We heard it out loud.
That's pretty cool.
Wow,
Heard it in real
that's when
time.
he
Yeah,
that's when he gets something nice like that. It's like, let's do this again.
yeah, yeah. I mean, as far as other EVPs, we've done we've gotten our names called at the Haunted Museum in Vegas. Um, I asked, we introduce ourselves always whenever we go into a location.
Hmm.
We asked if in the one room if they could say one of our names, and they said Mike. We left, went around, we came back, asked again if who else was in the room with us, and it said Michelle's name.
Oh wow.
Well,
Did
I
you
got
see the?
introduced too.
Oh, I bet. I bet. Did you see the divot box? What was your intake on that?
It's different now because it's so much more enclosed. I mean, there's levels of safety of it there now, but um, usually there's some activity, but you don't get to spend a lot of time in there when you're doing the flashlight tour. Usually get about 8 minutes because it's such a popular room.
I
Um,
suppose.
but it used to be when we first saw it, it was just in the glass case that you've seen when it was on TV.
Hmm.
Now it's got another level and then another level around it with some salt around it. So it's, you know, whatever activity is with it, they're trying to keep it in there.
Wow, that is interesting. Um, I'm on the fence about going or not going. I don't know. I heard
Yeah,
it's
we've been
expensive
there.
per person.
We've been there 15 times.
Yeah.
Wow.
We've done the flashlight tour 7 times and the day tour 8 times.
Wow. You got to sign a waiver too, right?
Got to sign a waiver.
Mm.
Yeah.
And no video.
Wow. No video.
No video.
We can audio all you want.
Yep. You can bring any other equipment with you that you want when you do that, but you can't do video.
Wow. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So psychic mediums. What are your feelings on psychic mediums? Do you use them on your investigations or do you not? And you like to go in cold or do you like to go in with knowing a lot of the information?
We like psychic mediums that we feel are credible.
Mm-hmm.
We've had Rick Wade on some
Yep.
of our things, and he does. Man, that guy's an EVP.
Extraordinary. He can
Man,
hear
he can
anything.
hear anything.
He's not a psychic. He is a seer.
Seer, yep.
But-
So, but he's come with us and helped on some of the investigations over Facebook, not just be there. But I mean, we don't really have any. I mean, whenever we go on investigations, it's just a small group.
Yeah.
You know, it's usually us two and Jay and Chelsea, and then maybe a friend or two of ours. So
Okay.
usually it's just usually our little group.
We don't have access to one on 24/7.
Yeah.
So are on the calls usually.
Yeah.
But
And
I
I
think
think that's
they're very helpful. I think they can bring a level of insight into, maybe something you can't understand or can't see.
right. Right. I agree with that too. I mean, there's some where, okay, I want to go in this room, and they look like, no, you ain't gonna go in it right now. It's not for you or anybody else. It's kind of closed off right now. So it's like, okay, sometimes I do break the rules and I do pop in there, but it's like, we're in it for, some will say for thrill, some will say for science like me, but it's also you want to experience stuff though too.
Yes.
But I mean, I don't know. It's
If you're
just
not excited about it, you're not going to do it.
right.
So it's all
Right.
about the excitement.
And
I
we
was actually
try not to do. We try to do as little. Like when you get to the location, they want to give you a tour. We try to do as little. We just want to know about the place. We don't want to know, hey, 3 groups ago, Sam got an EVP in this area of the basement. We don't want to know that. We don't want to. Okay, so this is where we're going to spend all our time. We're going to try to get an EVP in this part of the basement.
Because then you could be missing out on other things besides trying to get whatever Sam got.
right.
You want to go in there with an open mind so that you can get what you experience, not necessarily hope to get what they experienced.
I get that entirely. It's like you want your own, vision of that place of what you get and what you get out of it versus what somebody else gets out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it could be misleading too. They could be saying, it's all hogwash what they were getting, and yours is different. So
Yep.
I totally get that. I totally get that. So what is the most, let's say, holy water? Do you believe in holy water, or do you believe it's just water?
Well, I think it's holy water. I mean, I think that's strictly on someone's belief,
Mhm.
whatever their beliefs are. Because I would use holy water if somebody gave it to me if we needed it.
Mhm.
But I think that's just holy water to me is just somebody's drinking water to somebody else.
It's just up for
Right.
interpretation, but I don't find any wrong in using it.
Yeah, I don't have any. I never take anything along with me. Um, Same thing with I gotta be careful how I say this. Crystals. I say rocks, but people say crystals. Uh, do you think that actually helps when you put it in your pocket, hold it in your hand, or do you think that's just kind of a misleading type deal?
I think that it can, like, I think we don't usually bring anything into the buildings. Like, we have some in the car,
Hmm.
some crystals. Um, but I think we don't bring it in because I, I think that could deter activity because that's essentially what it's trying to do. Um, but again, that's all on somebody's certain beliefs. I mean, if they think the green rock they picked up off the road is a spiritual stone, then that's what their energy and beliefs are going to help
Who's to say it's
make
not?
that into
Yeah.
it, you know?
Right,
Mhm.
right. I get that. I get that a lot. I mean, I took some crystals to a location that I was said to take to because it's like, it's a dark, evil entity in this location. So I was advised to bring some. I did, and absolutely got nothing happen all night. Like I was idle,
Mm.
but everybody else was getting stuff. I'm like, huh, was this like on purpose to make me look stupid or what? So,
Again, I think that's why we don't bring anything in with us. I just think that in my head, that could help deter any activity that could help that we want to experience.
right. And I agree. I agree. Have you guys done any like private investigations, like residential houses and stuff like that?
We did one for a friend of ours.
Mhm.
It was a pretty cool experience. They seemed to got some answers that they wanted. We got some good activity there, but only one private residence we've done.
Yeah. How do
Other
you
people
treat
have
that?
talked to us about it, but
But that's
How do
all
you
the first
treat that
time.
differently from you know, a regular like investigation?
well, I think you have to be conscious of the people. I mean, because they were there with us, so you have to be conscious and just kind of. And I think you have to explain more.
Explain what
You
you're
get the
doing.
XLS out, and you're trying to explain. You're almost kind of giving a tutorial on all the devices you're using.
Hmm.
And you can't. I don't think you can. Like if we're in a group and we're at a place, we're not trying to. If somebody sees something, our all of our first instincts is to debunk something, right? How could that happen? Um, but at somebody's place, if they heard, hey, that's my dad's voice. Okay, that could be. You know, you, you can't try to debunk everything, but you can't feed that either.
Hmm.
Yeah. Your thoughts, Michelle?
I think you just have to be very careful and conscious of the people you're doing it for. You have to set, like, I don't know, set expectations that, we might not get nothing. We might get nothing, and it's just the way it is. We're going to bring out what we have and see what we get. And if it makes any sense to you, then great. And if not, well, we tried, you know? Um, I think you just have to set expectations for that because a lot of people that are inquiring about doing stuff like that, they have absolutely no idea.
Yeah.
So I don't want to get their hopes up for something that might not even happen.
Right. I mean, I've done one. I was one and done. Um, it was a bad experience on my end. Because of the teammates I had, really. But The thing is with to me with a residential, if you can't find resolve or help them, because I at that point I didn't really have enough people to pull off the rest of the investigation. I had to assign it to another team. I'm like, hey, can you take this over? Because I don't really have enough people to do it and the time.
Hmm.
Um, do you think that's a good thing to do to say, hey, I can't finish it?
Yeah, I think if you're not fully committed to that place, I think, yeah, you should. Um, I don't see any problem with handing that off to somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Paracon. Oh, sorry.
we
Go
met,
ahead.
we met some people in February that, and they do a ton of residential where they live, and that's almost all they do.
Yeah. So I don't know.
It's tough. It's really tough. You got a lot, like I say, you got families, and then some with kids makes it even tougher yet
Yep.
Mhm.
because you don't want to scare them off. Um, it's like that one show, Dead Files. They
Yeah.
they bring them in, and they sit there, they go through her house, all this and that. You must do this, 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 and this. And if it doesn't go right, maybe you should sell your location, go move somewhere
Right.
else.
Yeah.
That's a gamble, if you ask me. I mean, I could never tell somebody to sell their house.
Right. I agree. I agree. That would be. I don't know how I would even get to that spot. I mean, something would have really had to go sideways during an investigation.
Yeah. I just kind of wonder if that's what they do that for that show sometimes to just like they want to sell their location. This is their way to try to do it.
Maybe.
That's a possibility.
Yeah. I don't know. Uh, so let's get into some spear boxes here. So we've bought you a lot of spear boxes. Do you feel that between the apps that we use, like I use Spirit Talker, Necrophonics, and then there's one other one, and then or Ghost Tube, and then you get the ITC boxes that we were talking about, the FCD ones, one that Jay made for you and stuff like that. Do you feel there's a difference between the two? If so, why? And also, do you feel that these boxes and apps read the location and think about what we're saying to try and produce the words?
Whew. Um, you use the phone apps more than I do.
Yeah. Um, I don't use them often. I think I pull them out when maybe we're not getting anything with spear boxes,
Hmm.
or just to try it as a different piece of equipment that way. As far as they're already when we're downloading those apps, they already got our vocabulary in there, so
Right.
it could be very well picking off something. So I don't hold a ton of credit to them, and I mainly do it just for entertainment as a last resort or second last resort for equipment. That's my take on it.
Okay.
And as far as the spirit boxes, again, we have quite a few of them. I think different locations give out different vibes. Um, I like the spirit boxes. It takes a while, again, just like EVPs, to figure out what you're hearing.
Right.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to get the A and C ends all those because I don't like the pink noise.
Right, and that's the best thing about that FCD box. Man, it pulls out so much of that.
Hmm.
And then the one that Jay built me, he we can do that with that. We can take out a lot of that noise. So it really makes a difference.
Yeah, that's nice because I last about 20 minutes. I'm like, all right, turn it off. I don't feel good. So Jay has got this Nego box. Is that what he's saying? The Nego box?
Oh, the Nigel box.
Nigel.
That's the FCD. That's the It's Nigel Mortimer.
Oh,
So it's the Nigel box.
oh, that's funny. Um, Paracons. So, do you believe that Paracons are helpful in a way to get the word out about your team and stuff like that, or do you feel like they're more of a hindrance, if anything? What's your take?
We love the Paracon. Like,
We like to go to the Paracons. I don't
Yeah.
know that it does a much for our team per se, but um, the biggest one that we went to was the Michigan Paracon, and we really enjoy that not only because of the speakers that are
Hmm.
there. They bring up some cool topics that maybe you just want a little bit more information about. But they also have great vendors there and authors and an occasional celebrity or two.
plus you get to hear other people you might not, like you might not say, hey, I don't really know about this guy, but maybe you went to a talk, um, and hey, I really like this guy.
Hmm.
So I think Paracons can be a good thing.
Mhm.
I plus it brings everybody together, and everybody's, we've never really had a lot of problems with any bad people. So
Hmm.
It's like a
it's like
neat
it's a
community
good
event.
community, and it's fun to us.
Okay.
It's kind of like relationships that are going to last forever. Like you meet somebody somewhere, and then all of a sudden, oh, I'm going to get you on Facebook, and then all of a sudden you're just chit chatting away, and things are going on here, and maybe you're going to join them over there, and it's just cool. It's a cool community to be part of.
I agree. I agree. Some some do work out pretty well, and then there's some that, like me and my wife have gone to some that are like in Appleton or something like that, that or like a paranormal event or whatever, and there's not much to it. It's like, oh, that was kind of a bust.
Yeah,
They had their black beers and stuff like that for sale, and it's like, do you want one? I was like, I don't know. I don't know how to use it right. That's the thing I don't do. I scrying I don't do because it's like with me, I mean, I have a visual disability, so it's kind of hard to, I think, scry a little bit.
yeah,
But I also don't want to see a deformed face. I mean, I'm already deformed enough.
yeah. We haven't done a lot of that either.
Yeah, I agree. Um, so live streaming investigations and stuff like that. How do you feel about when you go live? Do you think it helps, or does it hinder you to uh, observe what you're doing, so to speak?
Well, you do the live more. I mean,
Well, I just
I
use the
think
camera.
it's fun to just bring in people that probably would never do this.
Hmm.
They can see a little bit of it because it's not like we live stream the whole night. Um, but
Right.
but it's certainly like some people at my work, they'll watch a little bit of it and then they'll just be asking all kinds of questions. It gets them a little more interested in what we do.
Yeah.
Um, I think it could be a hindrance if that's why we don't
If
do it
that's
all
all
night.
you were doing instead of doing your investigation.
Yeah,
Um, but I think it also helps bring in people when maybe they're seeing something or hearing something that maybe you're not, and they're putting it in the comments. And you're like, I mean, you can even go back and look at it and be like, oh, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I think that could help too. But I, we try not to do it the whole time just for that reason because we don't want that to be the only thing we're doing.
right. We want to be in the moment, you know, and do our thing and be with the people that we're there with.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree. I mean, doing TikTok, I've been trying to do that a little bit lately, and TikTok's hard. Um, you try to read the comments, they go a little bit fast, they're small. It's like, okay, enough of this. I gotta go. I really need to concentrate on what I'm doing.
I could
But
see that. I could see that.
yeah, I don't know. more and more I go, the more and more I don't do lives. It's just because I want to be in the moment. I really just want to experience that location like fully because I'm paid enough money to be there. So
Yeah, for sure. I
Mhm.
mean, that's very valid.
but Midnight. Welcome to the show, Midnight. Appreciate you being here. And then we also have Dark Matter, which is here. Welcome. So, so where can people get a hold of you if they want to get in touch with you and want to ask to go along on an investigation with you?
Well, you can check out our Facebook page and our YouTube. It's M&M Paranormal. We're pretty
Paranormal research.
paranormal research. My editing guy right here. um, we will get a hold of you that way. It's easy. We're pretty responsive, so you can like us, you can follow us, you can subscribe, all those things, and just get a hold of us. We'll be happy to do it.
Absolutely, absolutely. What do you guys got coming up?
We have the 1889 McIntyre Villa in Atchison, Kansas.
Great spot.
And then the next night we got Villisca.
Mhm.
So that's what's coming up right now. We have we're going to be moving. So we don't have anything lined up past that yet.
Oh no, you staying in state or moving out of state?
Moving to Florida.
Really?
Yep.
Wow, congratulations.
So just
Thanks.
think of all
I hate
the
winter.
stuff down south we can do. So we're pretty
Yeah.
excited to dabble in that too.
Suncoast Paranormal. He's a pretty cool guy down there. I want to get hooked up with him. So
Okay, we'll make a note of it.
yeah, he's got a YouTube channel. So he's a pretty interesting guy. I think he goes by himself a lot.
Okay.
But definitely get a hold of him. I believe he does a lot of gear making too. I think, if not, he likes getting on to different kind of gear as well, from Ghost Stop and whatnot. So
Cool.
But other than that, anything else you want to promote at all?
Nah, we just like doing what we're doing. We don't, we don't really have anything to promote. Just subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook and see
It's
what
all
happens.
good. Absolutely. Well, Mike and Michelle, thank you very much for being on the show tonight, and definitely have to catch up with you again when you guys get down to Florida because I like Florida, and Florida's got some really cool stuff. So I'm looking
Thanks
forward
for
to
having us on.
Yeah,
absolutely. Don't visit Memphis; too dangerous.
thanks for having me.
That's funny. That's funny. But yeah, M&M Paranormal Research, thank you for being on tonight. Remember, you're watching the Paranormal Brew on Facebook. You're watching BB3 TV Network on YouTube, and also MGS Paranormal 4258 on YouTube as well. And also, my good friend Dimension Devices. If you're looking to get the chatter, guys, definitely look him up. He's on
Oh, we got
Facebook
one.
and all that stuff. So, and YouTube. Great guy. So, with that, thank you very much, Matt. And with that, Mike, Michelle, I bid you adieu. Y'all have a good rest of your week. So long, everybody.